You might be asking yourself this question about the person close to your heart, whether you're in contact or not, whether you've been in a relationship before, whether you're friends or just friends. Are you asking yourself this question because you don't know? Does he think about it, or do thoughts of a committed life partnership even play a role in his mind at all? Is there even anything there at all? Or is there absolutely nothing in his thoughts when it comes to a committed life partnership with you? Is there anything at all? You don't know anything, as I said. Maybe you're separated, yeah, you're no longer in contact, or you only have sporadic contact or your friends. And there's just this big question mark. Is there still anything there at all? Or am I just stuck here in the friend zone with him, with her, or completely separated, or in total no contact? Let's take a look now to see if there's still anything on his mind when it comes to a relationship, a committed life partnership with you. Dear ones, a very, very warm hello full of love and a heartfelt hug to all of you. And just very quickly, we are working with the collective here. The person cards are gender neutral, and a collective reading may not apply to everyone. A little oops and a heartfelt thank you to all of you for all your wonderfully kind comments once again. Every day, time and again, each and every one of you touches my heart. No matter whether you comment or not, thank you for being here. You are wonderful. Let's take a look now. Now let's see if we can really get the shuffling right this time. All right. Okay. By the way, I also received this question as a suggestion. Thank you again for that. And as you know, you are always very, very welcome to write and suggest topics for a collective reading. And as you know, I am always very, very happy to include them. So let's take a look then. What do we have here? That's already a good start. Okay. So, first of all, we have the Ace of Cups right away. So, there's definitely something to see here. So, we definitely have love to begin with. Love is still very, very, very much in play here. Maybe right now he is a bit too closed off or too self-absorbed, maybe even showing you a bit of coldness. But let's see what's really going on there. But what I find wonderful is that, first of all, this is heading towards healing. Healing, even if there's still something unspoken between the two of you right now, or if there's been a clash, misunderstandings, or if he's really messed up multiple times. The mess ups. No idea. So in any case, it's about her reconciliation here. Reconciliation. But I also think that this has reconciliation, this healing is something he's going through with himself, because there's something dormant within him that has to do with reconciliation and healing, but also concerns his inner self. Let's keep going. Wow, good. So we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups also shows that these are wishes from your beloved, but this is also about making a decision. A decision, and above all, what he sees, which I find fantastic here, is that on the one hand, if we look at the whole picture, there's still something inside him that concerns a dreamlike relationship. So regarding the question of whether he's still dealing with it, we can already say, yes, there's something there. But it's also the case that he's showing signs of being completely overwhelmed. And escape. Escape from what? Let's take a look. But these are the issues that occupy him, what's going on inside him, which is also related to the relationship and definitely fits the question perfectly right now. Then we have another 7. And here we have the 7 of Swords. With the 7 of Swords, you can already see that he's being dishonest. Dishonest, and again, we see the escape. Dishonest. maybe trying to get himself out of the situation a bit, this dishonesty towards himself. But basically, I see him here as very, very lonely, and that's also part of his secret. There is definitely a secret here as well, yes. But as I said, he's kind of pulling himself out a little here, or maybe he's always tried to, well, talk around the issue a bit to get himself out of trouble. So these are definitely topics that are still on his mind. So internally, he's not completely in balance because there really is something that keeps getting in the way. But it's definitely about the relationship, a committed partnership. But as I said, there's this dishonesty. Let's just take a closer look. Oh, yes, we have running away as his main energy, the central focus. And then the doubts are immediately revealed as well, the thoughts. You definitely occupy his mind. I can tell you that very clearly. And above all, please excuse me. Please excuse my reaction, but that's just what happens. It just slips out when cards appear that are absolutely fantastic in relation to the question. And I'd like to draw another one here. So regarding your special someone, I can tell you very clearly that there's really a lot going wrong here. Truly, this is where the relationship with you is shown. Yes, it is shown. So you know each other. I definitely see the contact between the two of you. And it's simply wonderful. So, a clear picture. This time we have a big picture. Very meaningful. As I said about your special someone, I really see that he's preoccupied with his past. Those are the issues. We have the running away. He's not being honest with himself. You definitely keep circling around in his thoughts. So we have a very clear pattern here. When it comes to his thoughts about you, sometimes you occupy his mind more, sometimes less. I'm saying this because for some of you, the separation might have happened quite a while ago. But you are still very much present in your special someone's inner world. Definitely. With your special someone, I see these behaviors, these patterns, always these repetitions, and being dishonest with themselves because your special someone, as I see it, he or she has never truly lived or loved fully. I see love as being completely blocked, especially, as I said, when it comes to loving themselves and also truly feeling themselves, because I always sense them just skimming the surface. They have experienced disappointments and have also disappointed others. That was in the past. This is really the central point, because of course everyone has their past, obviously. But for this person of the heart, I really see it as the absolute central issue, the doubts, the burden, the strain, the blockage, all relating to the past. And the blockage, as shown, has to do with connections. I keep seeing them caught up in material things as well. As I said, always just skimming the surface, repeatedly focused on the material. And there you always have this inner conflict as well. Over all these years, they have always given dominance to the material, to the superficial, and have clung to it. Maybe sometimes spent a bit too much money, whatever the case may be. In any case, it was always just about money here. Money is what is considered important in life. But they have never truly lived out love completely, and relationships have always fallen apart again and again. Here, it could be that he always had the intention to end things again. I see the breach of trust here. Yes, it could also be that he was cheated on. He wasn't exactly a stranger to having a good time either. I have to be completely honest and add that as well, you know. That's also what I see here, but as I said, it was always just on the surface. Then you came along. You are there, you are absolutely present. As I said, with some people, I see a relationship that also broke up again. But actually, the relationship was never really ended. Because basically, maybe you were no longer together physically. He might have been with someone else. This is a different relationship. I like to call it an instantaneous water heater. If there was a transitional phase, or maybe there still is, I say to you, phew, congratulations, Coyote. You've really caught him in the cream of the crop, because he's going to get a really hard slap in the face, really hard, because this lady or this gentleman isn't really going to let up. So he's really getting it tough. But with your beloved, even if, as I said, the relationship has ended or you two were never actually in a relationship, you still occupy his thoughts very intensely. And why I was smirking earlier, because I'm stuck on the cable, you know, why I was also smiling earlier. Look, I had to smile, as you noticed. Can you even hear me properly? Yeah, right? I'll just move this somewhere else for a moment. I had to smile because this is about a relationship with you, whether he's still thinking about it or even just the thought, yeah, that a thought might come up in your direction. I see the connection between the two of you. Maybe right now, as I said, there was a breakup, or it's just on a purely friendly level on the surface. On the surface, or it's a friendship, but deep inside your special person's heart, it's definitely you. And as I said, I had to smile because we always need combinations here, or rather I need combinations from the cards for a committed life partnership. And to the question of whether he is still thinking about it, I can give you a definite yes, because I actually have exactly that combination. I have them lying together right here. So in that regard, there isn't even anything separated or anything where you'd have to make connections. No, I have it laid out here so clearly. The connection, the warmth of heart, you, how he sees you. It's just that he is entirely his own blockage, the blockage from his past, the disappointments. And above all, it's also the case that he knows he may not have always treated you fairly and honestly. I can see here a bit of dishonesty as well. Some things that were hidden, things that were kept secret, not being completely open with himself or about the relationship in general. He completely ran away. Even when you broke up, it was a total whoosh, impulsive reaction, running away, quick start and gone. And even if he can't say it, yeah, he definitely feels it inside himself about the relationship. Sure, honestly, the way I see it here, the love, the relationship, even if he has it in his mind, it doesn't mean anything if he doesn't take action. You know, there's love as beautiful as it is, or as it sounds when someone loves you, right? Like I see him here now. He also has to become active, because otherwise the whole thing is pointless. But in his thoughts, I can see very clearly the connection, the life partnership with you. Because your special someone really, well, it's like this. I'm not saying that he's thinking about being in a relationship with you 24/7, you know, right now. But it keeps coming up quite suddenly and unexpectedly. I keep seeing that the connection comes back again and again, even though he actually tries to push all of it away, especially when it comes to a life partnership. The thought keeps slipping back in, and that unsettles him again. Because deep down, he's also a little bit afraid of it, just a little bit shaken. And that's because he sees you as an absolutely wonderful person, but he doesn't see himself that way. Whether you've said it or not, that's a really big issue for him. Because he sees you as much greater, much more loving, warmer, more heartfelt, honest, and sincere than he has been towards you. In fact, deep down, he sees himself as quite small compared to you. And he constantly doubts whether he can really give you everything you deserve. If you were ever in a relationship, you surely noticed that he always, well, in a way, had the handbrake on and never really let himself go. You noticed that something was always stalling because you never truly lived out your love, since I was always influenced by the outside world. That influence where he always made decisions in favor of others or chose something else instead. For some, it might be that he simply put too much energy into work, always working and doing this and that, or that others kept interfering again and again, again and again. Those who took dominance, who took control over him or her. And that was always the reason, because he had never before truly lived real love, a truly stable life partnership, but had always just been like a puppet. But he never really saw it himself. Yes, or he never really recognized for himself what was actually going on. He was hurt and so on, but he never addressed his own issues. That basically his problem is that he is insecure, this inner need to constantly prove something to others. And he kept letting himself be manipulated here again and again. So, and then you came along, and that's when we have real connection, because that's when his heart was truly touched. But he's caught up in fear, in insecurity. Oh my God. A relationship, yes. If it falls apart again, panic. With him, I can really see the fear of loss, And it could also be that if you've already been in a relationship before, he suddenly, impulsively, out of the blue, breaks things off, even though nothing really happened, So we're not talking about some huge dramatic event here, just a sudden breakup, simply because he couldn't handle the situation anymore. It all became too much, because I see him here completely under pressure. And that's when the breakup happened. He preferred to end things himself before he could be left. And that's actually a big issue for him. But in his thoughts, I see you very intensely present. I sense the connection. He feels and recognizes the bond you share with each other. That much is clear. As I said, it's not like he's constantly thinking about it. Even if he is currently in another relationship, as I said, with another clingy person by his side, he definitely feels the closeness towards you, and he senses it as well. He just doesn't know how to go about the whole thing. If he is completely single and there's really no one else, that there's no one there. As I said, he's toying with the idea. He knows you are the perfect counterpart. You are wonderful, Imadko. You are the best thing that could have happened to him. The best and most wonderful person he could have met. He sees all of that in you. And with that, he feels, oh my God, he has never met anyone like you before, with so much warmth and the way you are there for him. And because of that, he always has this uncertainty. He just overthinks everything because I've made him completely stuck in his head. It's like that. It's like the angel and the devil on his shoulders. Then the angel comes and says, wow, with this woman, the person of the heart and so on, please adapt the people to your own situation. I can absolutely imagine it with her. Wow, how wonderful is that? This togetherness, doing things together. That's how he imagines it, this harmony between the two of you. Such a wavelength, the balance is just right, this sense of equilibrium. And it's simply too good to be true. And that's like, wow, amazing, wonderful. Then the little devil comes along and says, oh no. Then it all falls apart again, or she meets someone else and is gone. And she thinks it's not genuine anyway, and everything you've already experienced. And oh God, how will others see you? And then you're no longer within reach. You have to. And you relive everything that happened back then. By the way, I see a very significant family issue from the past with your loved one. So, and there we have it. And that's always the point where uncertainty creeps in, especially this heaviness as well. What should he really do? What is right? What is wrong? And that's what I mentioned earlier. What is he thinks too much. And the thing is, the heart keeps giving him. It's always this emotional swing. The emotional swing of the heart is always set in motion whenever there's something in his environment that has to do with you. Be it, for example, a message, just as an example now. A message, or maybe a meal that you really love, and he knows you're absolutely passionate about it. Or if there's a movie on TV, for example, whenever something pops up here, or he sees or hears something, these little triggers that have to do with you, then no matter how much he tries to run away, the emotional swing of his heart starts swinging beautifully all over again. So, and then the feelings keep coming back in. Because definitely, to answer the question, has he ever, in his thoughts, even just a little, warmed up to or considered the idea of a life partnership with you? And to the question of whether in his thoughts there is a life partnership, a committed life partnership with you. Yes, definitely. As I said, he always wavers a bit back and forth here. But a life partnership is definitely on his mind. But again and again, there's this. Yes, what is right? What is wrong? As I said, because he's still caught in this inner conflict, trying to find himself, to come to terms with himself, and he keeps running away from it. And the secret he also carries is this dishonesty, this lack of sincerity towards love, this secret he experienced back then. Maybe he once told you a few superficial bits and pieces about what happened, but he never really told you the whole story of what actually went on. And that is the secret he experienced back then, because that's where he really makes himself small about what actually happened, where he also didn't look, always looked away. And that's where he kept running away. So, and then you came along, as I said, no matter how long ago all of this was between the two of you, no matter what happened in between, it doesn't matter. He definitely knows that you and he are absolutely perfect together. He knows you are the perfect counterpart for him because you are wonderful. And it's also the case that he feels the strong connection, the happiness with you. He really wants to make you completely happy, but he is still torn. Can I even do that? But in his mind, it's definitely yes. There's the relationship with you. He's already thought about it. Not just once, but it keeps coming up again and again because he always feels your closeness as if you are actually very close to him, as if you are sometimes almost there. That's how familiar he feels. And yet there's always this running away, just like he's done over and over again all these years. And as I said, the love is definitely there, but also this. Well, this need to go into healing, to heal himself, to heal his past, so that he can finally close that chapter completely, But first we have the issue of closing off old things from the past, and that he completely frees himself from this pressure that keeps coming back again and again, because as I said, he knows that with you, yes, it's absolutely perfect. So let's take a look at what else is being shown here. Oh, now we have coins showing up twice for sure. And then let's go ahead and start with the Knight of Pentacles. So with this person close to your heart, he knows that with you, there's this sense of groundedness, right? But he's extremely cautious. And there's also a bit of stubbornness there. But, well, he still needs that sense of familiarity, that feeling of trust. And actually, he's someone who never really wants to take any real risks. He's always on guard, always in this state of alertness, but he's already in this area. Even if he didn't necessarily want this change at first, there's always something shifting on the emotional level, always some movement being shown, indicating that with you, there's a healthy foundation in love and absolutely solid foundation, because there's something there that he's still afraid of, something he doesn't really know yet, this sense of familiarity. And in that regard, he's still a bit, yes, very, very, very cautious about really stepping into that area, But he's definitely thinking about it, because we also see your healthy foundation of love here, since the love is definitely there between the two of you, at least from his side towards you, for sure. Yes, of course you have feelings for him too, but I also see you here as being a bit pensive. Do you even still want him? Because somehow there just isn't really any movement happening here, So then we also have the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles. But that also shows that he's becoming more adaptable in this situation. And there's still a bit of an up and down. Yes, but balance is coming in as well, so that he's gradually finding more stability, moving toward a committed life partnership. Yes, getting himself familiar with that. Because as I said, he's very, very insecure and just doesn't dare to take that step, But he's definitely thinking about it a lot. And there's also this curiosity, this curiosity in both of you, this meeting again, because as I said, he doesn't know it like this. And I really want to focus on this curiosity here because it's like he doesn't know it, he can't grasp it, he hasn't experienced it yet, your warmth, your kindness. He's more familiar with something like Antarctica, more in that way, like an ice block, Antarctica style. And so this is something new, but the curiosity definitely awakens him. Of course, if he also has a more relaxed attitude when it comes to relationships, he might show you that you're in the friend zone, like, let's just keep things casual, easygoing, and so on. But believe me, on a heart level, there's more than just friendship, definitely. And there's even more behind it. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye.